Hi, friends. Are you a lazy dickhead like me? I got a solution for you. This is a great new product made by the people who went to space. The Russian Space Agency. They made it for people to be motivated and do shit when they don't feel like doing it. It's an amazing new product you never heard of. It's called coffee. Coffee. I want to show you what it looks like right now. It's really tasty and delicious. I like having it a lot. It'll make you sweat and jittery and you'll shit your pants. It's awesome. Let's go over here and get some. Oh, fuck me. I forgot to make the coffee. Ah, fuck. Alright. Sexy terrapins. That's how you know it's what's in my record collection time. Alright. I think I'm just gonna jump right into it today. Let's go over to the old records. Right over here. And by overwhelming request, which means that nobody sent me anything this week making a request about which side I should pull from, that means I get to make the decision. Ha 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 ha. Doesn't matter because it's random anyways. Alright, so I think I'm going to choose from the middle, so I'm going to close my eyes and get to feel around in here. What's that? What is this? What is this thing I'm pulling out? What is it? What is it? What is it? Ugh. Bob Dylan. So it's like his first album or something? I don't know. Not a huge Bob Dylan fan. Inherited this from my grandma. I just couldn't let it go because I know she loved Bob Dylan, so I kept it as kind of a souvenir. My best buddy, one of my best buddies, he absolutely loves Bob Dylan. Bob Dylan's his favorite. I've never been a fan of the singer-songwriter. That's just a personal preference of mine. But, I'm gonna give Bob Dylan a shot. I'm gonna give you a shot, Bobby. See how you do. Right. I'm gonna go ahead and listen to this motherfucker. What up, Internet? Thanks for tuning in so you can watch me drink coffee. Alright, let's see. I just listened to good old Bobby Dylan. Bobby Dylan. You know, one of my worst fears is that I would, go get some tickets to a show that I really want to go see, get there early, get a nice spot, be all ready, and then the opening act is some asshole with an acoustic guitar singing some bullshit. I'm looking at you, Bob Dylan. Having said that, this was a good fucking album. I'm not a fan of Bob Dylan. I'm not a fan of the singer-songwriter. It's just not my. I really like instrumental music, and I kind of veer towards the electric and sort of virtuosic instrumental guitar. Seems to be what I like. And I never really understood the appeal of Bob Dylan. I mean, I always would have admitted in the past that he wrote some pretty good songs. But I never really liked the sound of his voice. So I could never really get into Bob Dylan. I had never heard his first record. Like I said, my grandma abso-fucking-lutely loved. I mean, he was her favorite musician. Absolutely, there's no question about it. But listening to this, I have a new appreciation for Bob Dylan. Like I said, I admit he's a good songwriter and all that, but What is it that's good about this album? What did I like about it? It's a pretty mean little album. I mean, it is literally just him with a guitar. His rhythm playing is man, it was great, really good. I probably won't learn any Bob Dylan tunes, but it probably wouldn't be bad for me as far as making my rhythm playing a little bit better. Mean little album. It's I have a new appreciation for his vocals. I would say more so in anything else that I've heard by Bob Dylan, which admittedly is not a lot. I like his vocals in this album a lot more than I've heard. My impression of Bob Dylan was like what I just did a minute ago, which was, Bob Dylan, this is the way they'll swing, Bob Dylan, woo, woo. And I never really liked that. But in this one, he gets, man, I don't know. It's his voice is. I hate to make this comparison, and this might annoy some people by making this comparison, but I could hear maybe the influence on like latter grunge singers in a way. Those very... Oh, sorry, I'm grasping for the words to try to describe his singing, but I don't know, guttural and bluesy in the best sense of the word, and powerful. Yeah, powerful is a good way to describe it. That, along with his really, really good rhythm playing, I was impressed. I got to give it to you, Bob. You did a good job on your first album. You can really hear why people went apeshit. I mean, when I listen to especially old stuff like this, I kind of like to put myself in the mind of the people who were listening to it at the time. Like, not... I mean, now we listen to it and you think, well, we've had fucking 50, almost 60 years of Bob Dylan, and so it's like, he's, in a way, the music's kind of been cliched, and people have ripped him off and covered him and blah, 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 and you're like, oh, whatever, I've heard Bob Dylan. But, God, for the time, this must have been fucking mind-blowing, dude. This kid just came out of nowhere. And just fucking killed it. You killed it, Bob. You killed it. Let's see some mentions on here that I really like. Oh, God damn it, I'm sorry. Okay, so Highway 51. All the songs were good. Highway 51... I'm sure I'm not the only one who thinks this, but God, that was a great riff. I'm always complaining that some of the stuff that I listen to doesn't have enough riffs, but that's the other thing I give Bob Dylan credit for on this album. Riffs galore, I mean, I don't know how many of these are covers, but maybe half of them, who knows? So I'm sure Ryan knows, actually, he could tell me. But Highway 51, that's just a badass riff, dude. I might actually learn that riff because it's so good. Mean blues riff. I mean, I feel like I'm doing a really poor way of describing what I heard. I'm using words like mean, but I mean, really, like, you're really feeling like Bob Dylan is firing on all fucking cylinders in this album. I mean, he's just powerful. I mean, everything is just popping off of this album. His singing's popping, songs are popping, his guitar playing's popping. I mean, it's just, this is like a guy at the height of his powers is what it feels like. Although I'm sure there's some Bob Dylan, latter Bob Dylan albums too where it feels like that. But yeah, I mean, I really got to give the guy credit. I don't like this type of music, and I'm going to give Bob Dylan his props. I mean, not that he hasn't had enough throughout his life, but from a guy like me who doesn't really like this type of stuff, I got to hand it to him. Good job, Bob. So I mentioned Highway 51, badass riff. Another thing that caught my attention was House of the Rising Sun. I didn't know that Bob Dylan sang that song, and I didn't know that it was a cover. I thought the Animals came up with it. I probably like the Animals version just a little bit more, but I mean, for a dude with just his guitar, he did a great job. Let's flip over on the back, and you can see, I mean, don't really make albums like this anymore, do they? Like with the dude on the cover and the guitar. It's as I always fault virtuoso guitarists. They do this. They always put themselves on the cover with the guitar, but I guess back then when you were a folk guitarist, you could get away with that. Maybe that's where they got it from. They're like, all the people I see with the guitarists, they put themselves on the front. But, I mean, I kind of like this cover because, I mean, God, look how fucking young Bob Dylan is, man. I mean, 20 fucking years old? Jesus. Enviable first album, and even more enviable, this is a fucking 20-year-old pulling it off. So, congratulations, and fuck you, Bob Dylan. Let's, I always like to look at the artwork on both sides, so let's turn it over and look at the amazing artwork on the back. And there fucking isn't any. It's another... I'm just gonna... You know what? I don't want to keep it on here, maybe to protect it, but it's just coming out, so I'm fucking tossing it. Goodbye. Goodbye, sir. Just like last week, I think the albums from the, 50s and 60s, they were like, how many words can we fit on the back of this motherfucker? Most of this shit is just blowing smoke up Bob's butthole. But there was one passage in here that I thought did a really good job of describing this album. Let's see, and his voice, which I was trying to describe and not doing a good job, but I think this this butthole, Robert Shelton, sorry, I don't know if you're a butthole, Robert, that's just mean to me. Robert's probably dead. This amazing human being, Robert Shelton. Most of his review I don't really care about. He just sounds like a reviewer who likes the sound of his own writing. But he did write one passage that I think's really good at describing Bob Dylan's voice. You can't really see it from here. Mr. Dylan's voice is anything but pretty. He is consciously trying to recapture the rude beauty of a southern field hand musing, racist, in melody on his porch, racist. All the husk and bark are left on his notes, and a searing intensity pervades his song. I mean, I was struggling to describe it, but this guy nailed it. Husk and bark, man. He could have called this album Husk and Bark. That's a good way to describe it, right there. What else is there to say about old Bob Dylan? I guess I'm gonna recommend this. I mean, if you like singer-songwriters, I'm gonna recommend this one. I don't like singer-songwriters, and I like this album. I thought it was pretty good. I mean, it's folksy, and I don't love folk music either. It's also bluesy. There's quite a bit of blues stuff on here. But I mean, I'm a musician. I love music. I feel like sometimes you ought to be stretching yourself in what you're listening to. So maybe give Bob Dylan a shot. Later, Bobby. Dude, how does it? I need some coffee. How does it work? Does the coffee go in here? How do you make it work? I do this? Does I think that's right? The coffee comes here? Is this right? Did I do it right? Have I done it right? Why do the Russians make this so complicated? Fucking Russians and fake news.